You're watching PEGRI TV, Rhode Island's public access channel.
Salam. My name is Sheikh Abu Hakim Abdullah, President Chairman of Al-Masjid Sharia Allah, AMSA, a non-profit religious organization operating in the state of Rhode Island, USA. Last week I was talking to you about how I received a letter asking for a donation, and I gathered that that letter was sent around to other Muslims that are citizens in the United States other Muslims. And that I want to know how come the President of the United States is asking for money, donations, from Muslims that are not moderates, as he calls them, as he called it. And so that was what the program was about then. One of the things that people in the United States and overseas, in England, France, and other countries must do is try to really understand Islam. Yes, Islam has laws and regulations that governs its people. Yes, Islam only has a certain amount of a democratic system inside of itself. Like when we vote for items that we be trying to do for people, like how much money will we give such and such a group? Who should be the imam? If the imam pass away, we vote and try to find another imam. Who should be a representative of the state? Who should work in the parliament? We have these things. We have these votes. But we can't vote on something to change anything. We can't vote on something to take something out of this book and put a law in this book. We can't do that. And there is no democratic Islam. Islam is not a democracy. You can't have the two of them. There is some, like I just said, there is some democratic things that we do that the people make a vote on it. But it doesn't concern the laws and stuff and anything in this book. It has something to do with what is in this country that we must deal with. Say we get say we get 50,000 tons of rice, and we want to get this rice to countries overseas. We would take a vote on how much rice we would give to each country. We take a vote for who will receive this rice. You see what I'm trying to say to you? This is the democratic part of of Islam. There's 5 people that's time was up in the House in Parliament. And there were some people running for Parliament. We would have an election on the people running for Parliament and vote them in or in. But ministers are appointed by the head of the country. We will not vote ministers in. Ministers are voted in by the head of the country. Because they become his group to work with. Minister of Peace, Minister of War, Minister of Freedom, Minister of Hospital, Minister of this, Minister of that, Minister of all these different ministers. The same way we might have Secretary of State, we have Minister of the State, Minister of Foreign Affairs, whatnot. Those we do not vote them in. That's appointed by the emir or the president of that country. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said that there is no kings in Islam. And I can understand why there's no kings in Islam. Kings has properties and all that, where all the properties that kings are rulers of a place, where the original rulers in Islam is the emir, is the imam. Or the Khalifa, which we don't have a Khalifa today. And that's the overseer of the whole world, the whole Muslim world. We don't have that today. Because we have broken up into sets and divided ourselves up into different groups, and each group will not accept a Khalifa from one Khalifa to govern all these different groups. It can't work. You have to have a Khalifa of the Shias, a Khalifa of the Sufis, Khalifa of the Sunnis, Khalifa of the Ahmadiyyas, Khalifa of this, Khalifa of that one, Khalifa of that one. And it wouldn't work. But we're going to have to do something soon in order to get some organization function and working in the Islamic world. Because we can't keep going around loose goose. Alhamdulillah. That's what's happening to us. We loose goose. Everybody's going to be a boss. So that's what it was last week I was talking to you about. And I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm trying to get the people to understand. Now, what I said to you in the beginning of this show, beginning of this time with you now, is that the non-Muslim people are going to have to make sure, get themselves together and act as individuals and get a better definition of Islam and Muslims. One thing that you got to get the understanding of is that the fear of this thing of the Sharia coming into the United States and into your way of life is impossible to happen unless the country of the United States and its majority of people turn to be Muslim and then vote for a new constitution and make it Islamic. And a new type government they would have to vote for. And underneath the way that you have built this world up, this country up, they can do that. Because you have what is called the majority win, democracy, the democratic system. They can vote for a new way of life in this country, and you have to accept it. In an Islamic country, which we don't have any as of yet that I see countries that claim to be Islamic countries. You can't do that. You must accept Islam. This is why the brother in Egypt said to the people on television, there is no democratic Islam. There's no democracy in Islam. You can't have the two, it won't work. Because Islam has rules and regulations how to raise your children, how to raise your family, how to live together, what to do if somebody steals something. It has all these laws in it as a governing body, as a governing force over man, over Muslim people. And so does democracy, the democratic system. The democratic system is a way of raising. You can't put them together. They'd be against each other. Oh, can't do that, can't do this, can't do that, you can't. And we won't have anything working out. You have more killing than you got today. And today's thing has got to stop too. But we must turn around, and you must turn around and understand what Islam is about. It's not hard to do. But it's hard now for you because the simple reason you didn't put a picture in your mind that's going to be hard to get rid of. Because you let this Sharia fear block your vision. The Sharia cannot be put on a non-believer in a non-Muslim country. The Sharia is on a person that becomes a Muslim. And it doesn't go outside of this person. It's only on that one person or two people or 40,000 or 50,000, whatever it is. And certain parts of the Sharia can't be practiced without violating the law of the land of the United States or France or any other place. Are you following me? I hope you are, because this is very important, because you got this Sharia phobia that's running around here, and you're destroying a thing that's very beneficial for you. You're destroying the Islam, or trying to destroy the Islam that will be very beneficial for you. Islam is against all the things that you have been taken up and let slide through, and this is destroying you. And I'm not saying that the Muslim is not running into the same problem, because the Muslim has some of the same problems. The disobedient child. But we don't have a bunch of children coming from children out of wedlock. Alcoholic kids. We don't have that. You see, so there's a lot of things that we don't have in our people that is killing the outside world, outside of Islam. And it's working so swiftly throughout the non-Muslim world that it's jeopardizing the Muslim world, the kids in the Muslim world, because a lot of stuff that's being done by the so-called hood groups and the hood gangs and all that is coming into the Islam through their children. And that's the reason why you have what's happening around the world and certain things could take apart. Let's take, for instance, that raping thing that young Muslim men are doing in Egypt. Or the lie throwing thing that they do in Pakistan. You see, all these things are outside of the Islam, but yet they come into the Islam. The open practice to homosexuality. It's so open in some Muslim countries that when I was over there, I seen it being practiced right on the beach. I seen people drive on the beach in their cars and practice acts of sex and stuff like that on the beach. I seen them walking down the street and soliciting people inside their cars, and the cars stopping, and going driving around the corner, and the kid, the young man, goes around the corner to meet up with the car. Now, I'm from a fast town. I'm originally out of New York. And I know what's happening in the street. I'm not blind to the street. I come from a middle-class family. Father was, you can say, was middle class. He had nice jobs and 2 jobs and all that. And we had some funds and stuff like that. We had money in the bank. My grandmother and all of them had big houses. 3-story apartment buildings. 3-story brownstones in Brooklyn. 4-story brownstones on Monroe Street. 4 floors on it, brownstones. With a basement and all that kind of stuff. Backyard. You see, but this is what's happening. You know, this is what's happening to us. It's coming into our families. The stuff in the street is coming to our families and coming to our kids. We send them into school and they come back with this baseball cap on and Levi's and pants hanging down. And with club jackets on and all that kind of stuff. It's happening to our children. And mothers and fathers have to straighten this thing out. The minute that dust gets on your child, you must take it and wash it off of him or her. You cannot play with it. The minute it happens, the minute you see them popping some gum, pop, 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 you must deal with it. The minute you see them bouncing down the street, the minute you see a cap turned around, baseball caps, you must deal with it. You must have your child dressing as a Muslim. And you yourself must dress as a Muslim. You cannot walk around here looking like a disbeliever. I keep trying to tell you that. But you keep trying, you keep doing it. You got people in Spain, in Egypt and all these places looking like disbelievers. All the different bebop, the caps on and the pants hanging down and all this different kind of stuff. And the jackets with lions on the back of it and tigers on the front and all this different kind of stuff. And this is what we're doing. And we got to change this. This must happen yesterday. You gotta listen. I'm telling you, there's a storm coming here. There's a big storm coming. And we Muslims must prepare for it. We're not ready. We're not ready for this storm. There's a big storm coming. Just like that tidal wave that hit China. That killed all them people and still killing them today. They wasn't ready for it. They stood there with their mouths open looking at it until it got up on them. Then they started running. And they wasn't ready for it. They didn't prepare for it. They got houses down on the beach. They build apartment buildings right now on a little bit of islands that high from the water. And the water's rising. You got ice melting. By the day, buckets of water's coming down from the ice. not by the weeks no more, but by the day. Ice breaking off big chunks. You got big patches of ice that disappeared. Where do you think that water's going? Down into the earth? No, it's going into the ocean to be with the other water. And look at it. I mean, seriously, look at it. Don't you look when you see the helicopter taking pictures of these new islands that they're building with these new homes on it? How close they are to the water? What do you think is going to happen in the next 10 years? You can't lift them big buildings up. They're going to have diving boards and docks on people's windows where they can step out their window into their boat and go around. We done destroyed it. In less than 2,000 years, we done destroyed the earth. Not we, you and me, but the European and other people that did so much damage to the world with their greed and other things that we're not going to be able to solve it. But they killing the ships and blowing up ships and everything, wars and stuff. You know how much oil is in the ocean? How much gas is in the ocean? It's a shame. I'm trying to tell you something, but you fail to listen to me. You don't want to look at what I'm saying. I'm trying to prepare you for you to be able to live. Inshallah, I'm trying to prepare you and give you the things that God and the Prophet and Islam is putting in me to give to you. But you're making me your enemy. And the guy that's giving you nothing is your friend. Don't think I'm trying to stop you from listening to that yesterday. But I'm trying to show you where yesterday must be put to the day. Not bring the Islam yesterday and to act like today, but to be pushed into the day to save our lives. Yesterday, the old thing of Islam, yesterday's way of living must be pushed into the day if we're going to make it. If you're going to make it. There's already people that's getting moved off of islands to another island because it's higher up the water than the one they're on. And the water's already coming into the place. The days of filling up the wetlands and making homes on it is over. Believe me. And I'm trying to warn you about this. But you're not listening. I've got 300 something hits on the internet. It should be thousands of hits on that internet. Is what I'm trying to tell you.